Okay, so we need to understand the execution context. And all that means is where we are in our code. And I know that may sound simple, but once you start having nested methods and objects within objects and then function calls within those, it actually starts getting a bit complicated. So we need to take a step back. We need to understand how the JavaScript engine executes functions and how specifically it executes nested functions when you've got functions within other functions. What happens? Which one's executed first? This is why this topic is so important. But let's take a step back. Right at the beginning, we mentioned JavaScript is a scripting language. Remember, it's interpreted. And this means there's no compilation. The interpreter, on the other hand, reads the code line by line and then it executes it. And the environment, and that's just another fancy word for scope, the scope in which the line is being evaluated in is known as the execution context. And JavaScript is clever. So the JavaScript runtime keeps a stack of these execution contexts. Why is there a stack? Well, you're not just going to have one function in your code, are you? You're going to have multiple functions. And when you're executing one function, you may have another function that's being executed within it. That's why you have to have a stack of execution contexts. You can't just have one. It won't work. It'll make your website and platform very inefficient. The execution context at the top of the stack is the one currently being executed. Well, no duh, that makes sense. The one at the top is the one that's being run. And the object that this refers to, it's going to change every time that execution context changes. Okay, so you've kind of with me at the moment. You're understanding, yes, okay, there's an execution context. My code has to be executed somewhere. There's a stack because there's going to be quite a lot of code and something's got to execute before other things. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But now let's dive into the execution context in a little bit more detail.